Hey, what's up everybody? As you can see, this room looks a lot different, but we're not going to do a room tour yet. I'm going to cut straight to the Uromastyx Care video and an explanation why there aren't two bowl file cages. There are not two bowl file cages here because one of them came broken, and I returned it, and I'm just waiting for the new bowl file cage to come in, and that way the female will be put up top and the male will be on the bottom. Alright, so now let's get to the care video. Basically, we're going to start off by saying one very important thing. If you're interested in getting a Uromastyx, the first thing I would suggest you to do is to understand a couple things. But the first thing you need to do is get on the internet and look for care sheets and print them out. One that I would recommend is this one by Deerfern Farms by Douglas Dix. It's a great care sheet. It's 12 pages long. I printed it out and made it like a little book. As you can see, I even highlighted some stuff in here. And really, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but I didn't go by some of the things that he wrote in here. I basically, made up my own conclusion of what I wanted to do. But this is a great care sheet and has a lot of useful information about the whole genus Uromastyx, and it also breaks it down to a little different for the different species that there are. Some of their differences. Not all Uromastyx Care is the same, but they're more or less all the same. Alright, so now let's get this started. Number one, Uromastyx are heat lovers. You need to have a huge heat gradient. Now, what I mean by this is Uromastyx need a very high basking temperature from 120 to 130 degrees. That's basking. On the hot end, the ambient air needs to be around 100 degrees, and the cool end, mid-80s. During the day. At night, your temperatures can drop, of course, mid-70s. That's alright. Now, as you can see, my Uromastyx, also the cage. Next thing I'm going to go over is caging. Babies, I would recommend nothing smaller than a 20-gallon tank, because you need to develop that heat gradient. For adults, a 40-gallon breeder will do good for a pair. That's what I would recommend. Not everybody needs to get a bowl file cage or a display cage like this, even though they're fairly cheap for 230 something shipped, and it includes the bulbs, so it's great. So now that we're talking about heat and caging, let's go over the type of bulbs we need. This is a basking bulb which gives off UVA light. I would recommend one of these depending on what type of caging you have. If you have a display cage like this, you can probably get away with like anywhere from 50 watt to a 75 watt. And there I have a 50 watt, and I can get away with that because it's enclosed, it's small, and it's very close to the basking area. So, and another thing very important that you need is a UVB light, which I don't have an extra one, but as you can see it right over there, the little swirly one. I would recommend a 10.0. I use the Exoterra 10.0 26 watt because it gives off more heat, so I would recommend that one. It needs to be 10.0. Now let me show you guys something real quick. Let me take out the male. As you can see, I have one hide. I don't have a hide on the hot area, and that's for one reason. The Uromastyx, before I had the basking area served as a hide as well, but they wouldn't come out. They would just stay under the rock and maintain their body temperature under the rock. I can't have that because then they won't receive the UVB and the UVA lighting that they need. So what I did was I just basically, since they like to dig, I got one of these little pot holders, and I just cut a hole in the middle. As you can see, here's the male. They don't really like being held, but there's the male, and there's the female. And as you can see, he was in the cool hide. He's a bit cool. He was probably going to come out to bask anyways. But so you can see his colors. They're a little bit darker right now, but he's looking really nice, just like the female. They're nice, fat, and plump. This is a healthy Uromastyx, everybody. I forgot to go over that at the beginning. This is what a healthy Uromastyx will look like. Alright, now that I went over lighting, I went over temperature, now we're going to go over the cage. I went over the cages, now I'm going to go over cage requirements. A lot of people will say that sand is bad for Uromastyx. Alright, I keep them in sand. It's the easiest thing to clean. They don't seem to ingest much sand at all. And I use washed play sand from Home Depot. It cost me like $2 a bag for a 50-pound bag, and that works fine. I don't do it too deep so they don't go desperately trying to dig. But I do plan to make a little area for them to dig, but that'll be later. I just need to find a way to make it myself using using some of these plastic plant things that I need to make something up, which I'm in the works of doing it. I just basically have an area for them to bask, a cool end hide, a food dish, and I keep them on sand. You can keep them on bird seeds, you can on cypress mulch. I wouldn't recommend cypress mulch, but bird seeds and play sand is probably the best things you can get for your Uromastyx. Now, something very important that we're going to go over. You can see Uromastyx are not very hard to take care of. You just need to get a well acclimated species. So now let's go through our checklist. We went through temperatures. We went through lighting requirements. We went through cage requirements. We went through cage decorations and what they need in order to be healthy. Now the next main thing that we'll go through is diet. One of the main keys of keeping your Uromastyx healthy throughout captivity is having a very good diet. Alright, we're going to start off by supplementation. Uromastyx need to have great supplementation. Now let's start off by this.